I'm really excited. We have a brand new studio for the autobiography. And the first person in this new studio is the very recent MD of Volvo Cars South Africa, Grant Locke. Well, Grant, welcome. We had a little chat before this, and it's really nice to see that Volvo is making some kind of changes. Not that change is always good, but these seem like positive changes. So let's get into that. But before we do, tell me a little bit about kind of how you got into this role, because right now. You are MD of Volvo South Africa, yes? Did I get that right?
Absolutely
yes.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So how did you get into this role?
George, thanks for having me today. And it's really, really good to be here and good to meet you as well. So I've been with Volvo over 15 months now. And my role started actually in Sweden, where I looked after aspects of the internal operating lease company called Care by Volvo. And over the past few years, we've been involved in a restructuring of that Care by Volvo entity. And I moved my whole family over to Sweden. And it's such a beautiful place, by the way. So really, really beautiful place. And we
Swiss watches come from there, yeah?
Exactly, yes. Yeah. So we sort of lived in Sweden for over a year. And then with the huge changes that have happened in the automotive sector and Volvo's response to that, I was given the opportunity to come back to South Africa. And the one thing about being a South African is that you can live all over the world, but South Africa is just part of you.
Yeah.
And when the vice president of the EMEA region gave me the opportunity to come back, it was a long week's discussion with my wife, but we said, okay, cool, we're coming back. And so that's it. And now I'm here to look after the South African operations. And I think my most important job is to make sure that customers know that Volvo is here to stay.
Awesome.
And I'm here to stay with my family.
Okay. So these rumors of Volvo leaving South Africa, what would you say to that?
No, Volvo is not leaving South Africa, but I can understand where they come from.
Okay.
So maybe some context and some background. Over the past year or so, Volvo has done some fairly drastic and some drastic restructuring of our dealer network. And there was a strategic reason behind it. As you know, George, one of the most important things for any OEM is to have a healthy network, yes, because that network is your point of representation with your customers.
Yeah.
They make sure that the cars are looked after. They make sure that the customers are happy. And if you've got happy customers, then you're fine. And I think what we'd seen with our dealer network was that some elements of it needed restructuring. And so we went about that process. And the restructuring of the dealer process took away coverage in key areas like East London, PE, Nelspruit, Bloemfontein. Okay. And we need to make sure that we get that coverage back as quick as possible. Gotcha. And there's elements of customers that we can understand are having difficulty having bought Volvos. And now, of course, in areas that have to drive a long distance to get them serviced. And nobody wants that. Yeah. So most important job I need to do right now is to reestablish those dealer network presences. And so we have already got an agreement in PE to reestablish a service offering in PE. And we are looking in Nelspruit and in Bloemfontein to do exactly that as well. And then, of course, we're going to carry on investing in our network and our marketing to make sure that people know that we're here to stay.
That's absolutely refreshing news, because Volvo is such a good car. The thing that you guys hung your hat on for many decades was safety. And I don't think that that's gone out of Volvo's cars. So it would have been really sad to see Volvo exit South Africa, because I'm pretty sure that there are hundreds of thousands of Volvos driving around secondhand. Probably people have kept them for 20 years. And, I remember the Volvo station wagons.
Oh, the 850s.
Yes.
Oh, my word, yes.
I don't know if there are any on our roads, but...
I saw one a few days ago, an 850 T5 sitting in one of our dealers' lots. He's going to restore it.
Nice. Okay. So it's nice to know that the OEM is supporting Volvo and the cars. But just before we sat down, you said that you previously were at Outsurance, and you founded and grew a business within Outsurance, and that's how you ended up in Volvo in Sweden.
It's a really crazy story, but my background's actually financial services.
Okay.
And I've been in financial services for over 20 years. And one of my passions was to help everyone get more out of investing.
Okay.
And I built a business in conjunction with the incredible people at Outsurance called Outvest. And we spent 9 years building up a platform that helped people invest, and we delivered phenomenal results for customers. And I invested a lot of myself in that business. And when it came time for us to divest of that business from an Outsurance perspective, just by coincidence, by the strangest of coincidences, I got an offer by Volvo to come to Sweden to look after their financial services or parts of their financial services business.
Interesting.
And so we jumped, and my wife and I took the opportunity. So that's actually how I ended up joining Volvo. It was actually a friend who introduced me to the global head of financial services at that time.
Okay.
And he just, I guess sometimes, and it's probably happened once or twice in my life, that you get that kind of opportunity.
Yes. I mean, quite often opportunities walk past you and
Yes.
you don't see them. So the fact that you saw the opportunity is something that I don't think is rare in the opportunity itself, but in noticing the opportunity and then grabbing it with both hands, and then actually doing something about it. I think many people have opportunities walk past them all the time, and they just, I don't know, blinkered to seeing it for some reason.
But you're so right in saying that. The most uncomfortable thing is when you see that opportunity, the acting quickly, the ability to say, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And then suddenly change your whole life around to pursue that opportunity.
Yeah.
That is it's very uncomfortable to do it. At this
It's
moment.
the unknown.
Yeah, it's the unknown. You don't know how it's going to work out, and you're sort of disrupting everything you know.
Yeah.
But I must be honest with you. Many of the times I've taken those opportunities, they've actually worked out for the better.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, it's down to, I suppose, character and how you deal with problems and stress and new things and change. And I suppose if you can deal with all of those things, it's not that much of a problem to get through in the long run, because I suppose certain people are just wired that way or not.
Yeah.
So I knew Greg Marashevsky well, your predecessor.
I had lunch with him yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Is he still in the country?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
very well.
And what is he going to go off to do?
I think at the moment he's just taking it easy at the moment. I think he looked in good spirits when I had lunch with him yesterday, and we had a good chat about Volvo. And I think he's still a passionate Volvo supporter.
Yeah.
And we were talking. I don't know if he still has it, but he had a passion for the XC90, the T8, the twin engine.
Okay.
And he was just saying that he had so many of those cars over the years. He just keep ordering them again and again and again.
Yeah.
So I think in his heart, he's still a passionate and ardent Volvo supporter.
Yeah. I loved Greg to bits. Glad he's well. But you've got a big job ahead of you.
Yeah.
I think to revive Volvo's network in South Africa is quite a thing. What do you think your first move is going to be?
Yeah, I think the first move is firstly there's a couple of parts. So one of the things is to create that calming effect with consumers, to know that Volvo's not leaving the country.
Yes.
And that we sort of go and it's more the announcement and making sure that I'm out there.
Yeah.
And what that does for our dealers and our trusted partners at the moment is it just makes their conversations a bit easier with customers.
Yeah.
To make sure that the OEM is taking responsibility for handling that message that we're not leaving the country. The second job is to obviously support our retailers as much as possible, making sure that they get the support they need, and then make sure that we support them in opening network locations in the right place. To make sure, again, when you close down and you restructure those networks, those overflow customers have to go somewhere.
Yes.
And whilst it's good for retailers to have obviously full service bays, you want to make sure that the demand is manageable. So we need to make sure that we support them in that. And of course, when there's new opportunities to open retail networks, the first people we're going to go to discuss those opportunities is our existing partners.
Yes.
So we're doing that at the moment as well. So it's, it's an intense period around that. But I think I must say the entire VCSA team, they're a fantastic bunch of people.
Yeah.
The retail partners, I mean, again, there's not a lot of us. We're all in a WhatsApp group together, so we sort of have an open conversation. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to building that relationship with them a lot. And then I think the biggest other job to do, I think, one of our trusted partners, when I first got announced out, when we first had a discussion, he said to me, he was one of the groups that brought Volvo back to South Africa, in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And he said to me, from his perspective, and he was wearing a Volvo jacket when I said this to him, and he's part of a large dealer group.
Yeah.
And he said to me, Volvo is South Africa's best kept secret. And I think my job is to try and just make it slightly less of a secret. And so invest in the awareness and the consideration of the brand. Because you're right, the car still cares most about safety. I mean, I was in Gothenburg recently, and I've been there a few times for discussions with some of the engineers. And sometimes I get the feeling that they care so much about safety that they needed somewhere to put it, so they built a car.
I like that. That's going to be a soundbite. The engineers needed somewhere to put safety, so they built a car. I don't think I've heard that ever. That's such a good line. Talking about Volvo as a car itself. Volvo was, and maybe you can enlighten me a little bit on this EV path.
Yeah.
What is Volvo's future in relation to EVs and in relation to internal combustion engine vehicles and hybrids?
It's a really good question. So if you think about it, it's not a niche, but it's a relatively small brand in the global context of our global peers in the premium segment. So we need to be really focused with our decision making. We can't play both sides.
Yes.
And what Volvo's done is they've chosen to focus on EVs. And what they're doing is they're saying that we are building a path towards EVs, and we're going to do it on a global basis.
Yeah.
And in the interim, though, we understand that we're not quite sure how long this adoption will take. Yes. It could take, in some countries, it's different all over the world. In Norway, it's nearly 100% adoption of EVs, but in South Africa, obviously, it's different. And we need to make sure that we have a product range that works. Okay. So the interim will be a transition to the plug-in hybrid. And those plug-in hybrids will be the XC60 and XC90s. And those will continually be refreshed to make sure that they are suitable for customers. At the same time, we're investing an absolutely enormous amount in our BEV ranges. And you saw that with the EX90 that's just come out now. That's on the SPA2 platform. That's out now in South Africa. That's our premium offering. And then we've got the ES90 that's coming out in Q1 2026. That is going to be on the 800 volt architecture.
Okay.
And that car as well, I think the WLTP on that car is nearly 700 kilometers. Oh, wow. So proper amounts of range out of these cars. Yeah. And then we actually had a sneak preview of the EX60. It's coming out. And I think they've done a great job. Oh, wow. They're really good job in making sure that car fulfills the promise of the current XC60, which, as you know, is now Volvo's best ever selling car. And that's such an important
I had the EX90 for a weekend.
Really?
Greg gave it to me. It was the EX90, the hybrid, plug-in hybrid. Yes. Loved the car. Absolutely loved the car. It is the EX90.
It is the EX90. You're right.
The EX90.
100% right.
And then I didn't get the EX60.
No, that's still coming. That's next year.
So not the EX90. The EX90 is the plug-in hybrid, right?
No, the XC90. XC90 is the plug-in hybrid. That's the one that Greg likes so much.
That's the one I had for a weekend. Maybe that's why Greg sent it.
Okay, now we've got to get you the EX90.
Yes. So then you had the launch of the EX90 last year.
Yes, that's the one.
That's the one. And managed to experience the car at the launch, but never got to. No, I did actually. I got to drive it for just a day, and then it was so popular I had to give it back. I drove it for a day. It was a beautiful car. And it's so quick.
It's really fast.
So quick. Yeah.
I mean, you've been with EVs as well. You've been a long time adopter.
Yeah, I had the I-Pace.
It's a really good
the
car.
The Jaguar I-Pace, really good car. I mean, I was saying to the Jaguar guys yesterday, because I spent the morning with them, Jaguar Land Rover guys, and I said to them, my first experience with an EV was a Tesla in I think it was 2012 or 2013. I experienced a Tesla for the first time overseas. And I was like awestruck with the Tesla. Absolutely awestruck. And then when I climbed into the Jaguar I-Pace, and the Volvo is exactly the same, I just haven't owned one. When I climbed into the Jaguar I-Pace, immediately I noticed a build quality difference.
Yeah.
The build quality of the I-Pace compared to the 2013 Tesla, I don't know about Teslas now, was night and day. Jaguar just made a better car from a build quality point of view. Musk might not like me saying that, but it's my opinion.
When they launched, they were really, I mean, the I-Paces were amazing.
It was unbelievable. It was such a good build quality car, and Volvo has done exactly the same thing. The nice thing about Volvo, and maybe we can talk about this for a second. The nice thing that I believe, or the thing that I believe that Volvo has got right, in my opinion, is you haven't tried to be a software company yet. So it might be coming, and this is my context. All other manufacturers, I've been saying this for 5, 6, 7 years. All other manufacturers are trying to build an EV and software at the same time. Now, to do too many things is hard to do. Okay? What you guys seem to have done is you focused on building a car, because you're good at that, and you've integrated with Google for the software.
For the infotainment, you're right.
Well, that's the thing that the consumer sees,
yeah,
right?
You're right. I mean, and I think you're right. I think that is, from the infotainment section, you're 100% right. However, where again, many manufacturers have to go now is to build their own internal operating systems for those cars. Yes. I heard an interview with the Ford CEO the other day where, in the old days, each component would have its own ECM. And so what they would do is they would then go to the ECM and the component manufacturer, say, please make it do this or do that.
Yeah.
Nowadays that everything's own software controlled, we have to write our own operating system for the cars with its own processes.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to do.
Tough.
It's really, and you're 100%, it's really hard to do. But I think the problem is that every manufacturer will have to do this.
Yeah, they'll have to do it at some point.
They will,
but my opinion is walk before you run. Build the car. Even if you use other people's software architecture and chips, and then build the software on the platform. But what I love what you've done is the interface and the entertainment and infotainment system, as you put it, in the car. You've not tried to reinvent it.
No, that I think works really well. I mean, Google are the masters there at really, and the integration pieces with your phone and with the rest of your life that represents is great. But I still think, to be very transparent with you, I mean, even Volvo's has had some difficulty around re-releasing those software updates and getting them out there. And Tesla had the same thing as well, I believe. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe they did. And I think every OEM is going through that now. But I think it's a curve that we're all going to have to go through, in my view. And I think it's going to be fait accompli, but it's going to be a journey.
It's an absolute journey. Absolutely right. So you're now 15 months in Volvo. How many months in this chair?
Oh, it's days.
It's days.
It's days.
It's not months. It's days.
It's days.
Okay, so it's literally I got you here at the right moment.
Yeah.
You're kind of green in the role. So let's talk about your leadership style a little bit. What was the first thing you said to the staff of Volvo South Africa? What did you say to them about the changes and your new role? And then in the back of your mind, what is your leadership style? How do you plan on leading the Volvo team?
That's a tough question.
It's deep questions.
They are. I think my leadership style has changed so much, so quickly. As you grow up, you also learn things and you look back on versions of your previous self, and you
Yes.
think,
Not the same. I mean, I'm not the same person as I was 20 years ago.
yeah, I know. And so I think when I get to now, the key thing for me is to build the trust with the team. They need to know that I'm here for them.
Yes.
There are difficult decisions to make. Those are my decisions. I have to make them. It's part of my role.
Yes.
And I need them to know that, firstly, I would love them to be successful. I would love us to be successful, both personally in their own lives and professionally as well. So there is a, I do care. The second piece is that sometimes when we have to make difficult decisions around business-related topics or dealing with customers or dealers, I will make those decisions, but only because I want to protect the people and the organization.
I've got a good analogy for what you're describing. I'm glad you described it that way, because when you get on an aircraft, you get the briefing with the belt and the masks and the oxygen and all that stuff. And the one thing that I've kind of juxtaposed against leadership is the one part of the briefing says, secure your own mask before you secure anyone else's, because you can't help anyone until you are okay.
Yeah.
And I look at that in two ways. One, ensure that the business's mask is secured first.
Yeah.
And if the business's mask is secured, then everyone else will be okay.
I think that's a great analogy.
And I think that's what you're describing. Is you're not afraid to make the tough decisions to secure the business.
Yes. So I can look after the people.
Exactly.
And our networks and our customers. Yeah. At the end of the day, this is about customers. We need to make sure they're happy. We need to make sure that they feel that there's trust and safety. And the safety is that the brand's going to be around. The safety that their car will be looked after. But of course, you and I both know that when you run businesses, there's a lot of things that goes into making that happen. So when I talked to the team, the first thing I said to them was, look, I just want to understand what's going on. There's a lot I need to learn. It's not like I can walk in there and say, I know exactly how everything works. There are people who've been with Volvo who know infinitely more than I do.
I'm with AutoTrader 21 years and I still don't know everything.
Exactly. So I need to rely on those. I need them to trust me. I need to know that that I can rely on them, and I know I can already. I mean, these guys I can just feel the passion for the brand. It's actually infectious. So that's a great thing to know. And then just be there. Just every day, just be there. And when they need you, you're there. Yeah. And you're present for the team. Because oftentimes they're only bringing you problems that they can't solve themselves. Yeah. And so you need to show up and help them. And so that's what I'm trying to be there for.
So, I mean, I think with my team, I often say to them, I'm there to take the roadblocks out of your way.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm there to take the barriers out of your way. Provided we're meeting the company's objectives, that's my job. Come and talk to me about how I can help you do your job better. But you've got to show up too. You've got to show up too. We have this underlying theme this year in AutoTrader called the desire to win. And I was having a chat to the sales team about the desire to win and what it means. And it means showing up to work with an intrinsic fire. I don't want to have to motivate you. You need to come there with your own motivation. I'll be able to layer on top of that. I'll be able to get you even more fired up. I can put wood on that fire. But if I have to drag you out of bed every day as a leader, that's not intrinsic motivation. You've got to show up. Yeah. You show up, we can do excellent things together.
And we must also, as the leaders, we must create the environment. Yeah. Make sure that it's a lovely environment. Allow people to encourage them to fail. Encourage them to try. Encourage them to get out there with the psychological safety that, hey, if you tried and it didn't go well, it's okay. We'll try again. And I'm there to make sure that you've got that psychological safety net for you. Yeah, of course, we all need to learn from our lessons, but most of the people we work with every day, they know this. Yes. And so we need to have that level of trust and create that psychological safety net. And I think that, that's something that that will come with time once people know me more and more. But yes, I think that there's a lot I need to wrap my head around in this role. The one other thing I'd say is that when we look at the role itself, this role is a commercial role. It's a role around distributing product or distributing the cars, customer satisfaction, making sure customers are happy, making sure that they feel protected and safe in our network, with our environment, with our products, dealing with those things every day.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've got to keep my head on.
Exactly.
And the other thing is that, I think what you guys do so well is data. And the data piece is something that I think is going to be a focus. It's going to be an underlying theme of really managing the business through understanding the core drivers through gathering data.
I mean, we think data is not an event, and many companies see data as an event.
Yeah,
data should be in everything.
Yes,
and even our intuition and our instincts. Those are data points.
Yeah,
people often kind of discount gut feel and instinct and intuition as no, but that's not real data. It's another
real data.
It's another data point. And if we use the instinct and the gut feel as data points along with the actual bits and bytes of data, I think you can do wonderful things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think also, when you're sort of in an organization, there's always a distance between you and the customer. And I want to shorten that distance as fast as possible. And there is data that's being generated at dealer level, even at customer level, that will help me be more responsive to customers, help me be more in tune with what they want to, or how I can improve the business.
Yeah.
And to get my hand, to make sure that I've got a handle on that is something that I'm going to make sure that I get. And most of it at the moment is obviously through your relationships with your dealer network.
Yes.
They've got to trust you. Yeah. And you're right. It goes back to what you were saying around trust, gut intuitions. That is a data point, and it's managed mostly through our relationships.
Exactly. Let's get into a little bit about you, sports, hobbies.
Okay. So I'm actually a car nut.
Okay.
I am, as I was saying to you earlier, I mean, when I was in my teens, I used to read AutoTrader weekly. I would shop. And then, of course, when you guys went online, I would just look for cars. And I would go on to AutoTrader. I was looking at boats the other day on AutoTrader because I'm coming back to South Africa. And I think my first ever car was a 1975 Mercedes-Benz 236. Uh-huh. And I bought it from a guy, and I didn't know anything about it. And I took it to the garage. And
you seem young. I mean, 1975. You look
No.
You were born in the late 70s.
Yeah, exactly. No. This car was old when I bought it.
Okay.
And I love
so you like
classics.
old cars?
I love all cars. Okay. I sort of had enough money to buy an old car.
Okay.
And I bought this car, and when I opened the boot, I could see the road. There was rusted
everywhere.
The tires had no grip on them. It had I don't know if it had a blown head gasket, but it was a mess.
Okay.
And I remember driving home from Cape Town we lived in KZN, and on the way home, I blew a heater hose. And it's just me in the car. I'm in my early 20s. I've blown this heater hose on the side in the Karoo somewhere, bent it over, and then had to drive the car back. And I think that taught me a lesson. It wasn't that I was a trained. My dad wasn't a mechanic. I just had to figure it out. And it also gave me a love of cars. As I said, most of the cars that we had growing up, they all had to be fixed because there was not enough money to fix them. And I remember my dad came back one day. He'd been on a business trip, and he had a car accident in his little Toyota Conquest. Remember those little Toyota Conquests? Yes. He had an accident in his Toyota Conquest, and he came home.
Those were little pocket rockets.
They were, yeah. He had the 1300, but it was still quick for the day. Anyway, and I remember it was a Saturday morning, and I just took off the side wing of the car, and I just basically on the grass just beat it with a hammer to try and straighten it out so that at least the car was drivable.
Yeah,
and it didn't interfere with the suspension. So I've always had that practical relationship with cars, and that love of sort of doing things. Our latest one was I bought a crash damaged Alpha 159, a 2013 model, and the design of those cars, the Gagaro design cars, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And this one had sort of T-boned a tree. So the accident damage was it was just in the crash bar.
Okay.
So we didn't have not much chassis bending, but the crash bar and then all the intercoolers and then the turbocharger was compressed. So I had to rebuild the front of that car, and then of course replace the airbags as well, and make sure that the car was safe. And I really I like making things whole and making them good again. I like looking after things. So my journey with cars is really, as I said, I'm super passionate about them. And I was with a guy yesterday, one of our main dealers, 2 days ago. And, he took me through his building and we looked at all the new Volvos, but then he took me into the building and then he started uncovering all of these classic Volvos that were in South Africa. And there's the P18.
Customers' cars?
No, these are his cars. His collection of Volvos. In the 1950s and 60s, the Volvo Amazon, which is one of the first sort of main productions that we got in South Africa, he has a special version of that. He's also got the P1800, which is the Volvo sports car. He's got a special version of that, which is the shooting brake. And he's got the old 145s and all the other cars, the old classic Volvos. Plus, he's got one of those 850s that we had in the late 90s, the T5, the yellow T5 station wagons.
Jeez.
And that's the one he's going to restore. And to see there's such a vibrant car community in South Africa. I mean, it's such an amazing place that South Africa's got this really well-developed car culture.
Car culture, yes,
it's
exactly.
Everything from the Gosheshes all the way up to, anything else you can think of, all the way up to the Aston Martins, or the Ferraris. You've got this incredible spirit of car culture in South Africa. And I think that's what makes South Africa so unique in my perspective, at least, is that we've got this amazing culture.
I think you're right, because I think South Africa's become that way because of the size of the country.
Yeah.
We have to drive.
You're right.
We have to go from place to place, and there's no public transport infrastructure really. We've got the Gautrain, but its routes aren't extensive enough.
No, it's exactly.
The train network is almost non-existent. I'm hoping that Transnet revives it and makes it safe. But barring that, you have to have a car. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get from place to place. I mean, my first car was a Passat.
Really?
That was my very first car. What a lemon. What a lemon. And bought this car from a really nice guy. But I don't even think he realized that the car was going to break. So I can't blame him. I don't think he sold me a lemon on purpose. And it was my very first car, one of those ones with a boot.
Yes, yes. Yeah, okay, I know exactly.
It was a boot. It wasn't the hatch. This was in 1994. Yeah, 94, 95, somewhere around there.
So it was probably about 10, 12, 15 years old already when you bought it or something.
Yeah. It was. I can't even remember the year model of this thing. I didn't have it for very long because what I did with it next was where I really learned to understand car engines and cars, because one day I'm driving and the next minute there's a plume of smoke out the back of the exhaust, and I'm like, okay, then it goes away, and then I turn a corner and there's a plume of smoke. And I stop the corner, I carry on straight, and there's no smoke. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I don't know if you remember those Heinz books.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So the car workshop books, the full guides where you buy.
Yeah. So now my late dad, who passed away from COVID, my late dad and myself, now we're trying to figure out what's wrong with this car. And I didn't come from money, so we've got to fix this thing ourselves. So we parked the car in the garage, and my dad says, no, we're going to go get a Heinz book, and we're going to figure this out. So we start reading, and so we decide we then figured out from talking to other mechanics and stuff that it's likely the rings of the pistons that are gone, and the oil is pushing through the rings. It's definitely not a head gasket or any of that stuff, because it's not overheating. It's just white smoke. So it's oil getting into the cylinder somehow. And so we start taking this engine apart.
Oh my goodness.
In the garage. Start taking this engine apart. And long story short, took the head off, took the sump off, dropped the crankshaft, and you can't pull a piston out from the bottom. You got to push it out from the top. So we pushed the pistons out from the top, and true as nuts, there were cracks in the rings.
Oh no! Okay.
And there were slight grooves on the cylinder, scores on the cylinder. And so, okay, how do we fix this? Read. Because in those days, the internet didn't exist.
No, you had to know someone who knew something, or you read a book.
Exactly. So eventually, we figured out, okay, we don't have to rebore this engine. We had some mechanic look at the scratches, and he said, no, you can hone this. What the hell's honing? Okay, we figured out what honing was. Got a honing tool on the end of my dad's drill. Lots of oil inside this little cylinder. And basically, you're just polishing the scratches out. Polish the scratches out with this honing tool. All 4 cylinders got new rings. That's the only part we had to buy, besides the cylinder head gasket and the other consumables. Put the car together, and it was fun.
Yes,
but I learned so much. And the other thing that happened was I bonded with my dad.
Yeah.
Because every weekend, it took us a number of weekends to get this car done. Every weekend we were working on this thing. And until it was done.
Yeah.
And then the first time because you got to turn the engine to see that you got the timing chain right and the timing belt right, and make sure that the head's not hitting the valves. So we turn the engine. Okay, there's nothing touching. So we've obviously got the timing chain or timing belt right, and then start the car. And that was like experience, a high five moment. I really bonded with my dad during that time. So it seems like quite a similar journey.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes the best experiences you have with your parents is when you have to do something difficult. Yeah. When they're helping you sort out a big problem like that, and then doing something together. Oh, that's really lovely.
Any other sports you do?
So I love keeping fit. For me, I love keeping fit. I'll do any sport. Let's put it that way. So I think that the key thing for me is trying to manage both being a family man and a husband, and a provider, and also trying to keep fit. So for me, the simple sports like running, although I wouldn't call myself a particularly good runner, but I do enjoy it when I'm starting to do it a bit more again, and then cycling as well.
Oh, you cycle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I cycle. It's mainly sort of off-road single track.
Yes.
But really enjoy that.
Around the reserves in Joburg, because I do that as well.
Yeah.
I was a road cyclist before, and then 2 of my friends got knocked over. Not like badly, but
it makes you think.
It makes you think. And then I was like, okay, I don't have time to cycle all the time either. So the reserves in Joburg are brilliant to go cycle those single tracks on. Do it from time to time.
Yeah, I love that. That's my if I can get a Saturday morning where I'll wake up early so that I don't disturb the family time, I'll go for a cycle and go and do that. But I mean, even if you said to me, hey, let's go and play a game of tennis, it'll be the worst game of tennis you've ever played in your life.
Fun.
But I'll go and
Have you played paddle?
Yes. For the first time.
It's taking off for some reason.
It's so addictive because it's so accessible.
Yeah.
You can...
And you don't have to be good.
No.
You can be shit as anything and you'll be okay.
And you just have a jaw with your mates. Yeah. I love that about paddle, is that it's like you can get a good workout and everyone can have a game without you having to sort of worry about someone's skill level that much.
Yeah. It's not like golf. When I was an accountant, we used to play golf once or twice a week. Because in that circle,
you do.
You have to. And I played golf for a couple of years, and then I was like, no, it's a nice game. It's on a fairway. It's nice and relaxing, and but the guys are way too competitive.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, I'm here to have fun.
I want to have a talk to you.
Yes, I'm not interested if I do like 6 shots on this hole or 3. It's not. I don't care. It doesn't matter. They're so competitive. So paddle's not one of those.
No,
you can just have a jaw.
You can just have a good time. Yeah, I like those kind of sports. I'm at the age now where I want to keep fit, but actually I want to build my relationships. I want to build my friendships.
Yes.
And so if a sport allows me to do that, then I'm going to do it. Yeah. And then also bring in, my kids where I can. Yeah. And paddle's also good if, obviously you bring your kids with you, and then you can also play with them as well because it's fun.
It's fun. Yeah. And it's easy to do. Getting back to Volvo and the automotive industry. Now, you were telling me earlier on about your the restructure within the group, and that you've gone from an importer working with importers to another structure.
So prior to this, South Africa was placed within another area of the Volvo group as a result of some other changes that had been made in the organization. But more recently, Volvo as a group and in responses to global changes, i.e. tariffs and other aspects, Volvo is starting to regionalize itself.
Okay.
So that's one of its key pillars at the moment is to regionalize. And what happened there is in this regionalization, you've got, I think, three main areas within Volvo. You've got the Americas, you've got EMEA and APEC, which forms one block effectively, which is a Europe, Middle East and Africa, and then Asia Pacific ex-China.
Okay.
And then you've got Greater China, which is going to have its own level of autonomy or more autonomy within the global group.
Yes.
So you've got these regions that are building up, and then South Africa naturally fits, as it does in many organizations within that European region.
Yes.
And that is almost like a coming home.
Okay.
Because prior to what had happened in the restructure, South Africa actually did fall within that region.
Okay.
So I think a lot of the team feel really comforted by the fact that we now form part of the European region, again within Volvo Cars. And I think there's a lot of history there that a lot of the team, a lot of the people within the Volvo group centrally also know about South Africa. I think there's a lot of excitement. And I think there's also gratitude towards what had happened. I think what happened under Tarcisio and the other MD, just after Greg, they brought a lot of energy, and a lot of focus on the group. And I think they brought a lot of excitement as well. So I think a lot of what has happened has actually been in the main positive.
Okay.
And now I think over time, we're going to reap the benefits of even the dealer restructuring, the focus on South Africa, the reorganization under the European region. And I think that's leading us now to a really positive future. And if you look at the model lineup that's coming, we've actually got the EX30cc launching in August. And then towards the end of the year, we've got the facelift of the XC90 and XC60, our plug-in hybrids. Yeah. That's coming up now. And then Q1 2026, we've got the ES90 launching.
Jeez.
And then later 2026, I don't know when, the EX60 is coming out as well.
Can we talk a little bit about the impact of Chinese vehicles in South Africa on Volvo? Do you see the Chinese vehicles as competition in your segment, firstly? And then secondly, how has that impacted your volumes? And what do you see the future path to be? How do you compete with that 80% of the quality at 60% of the price? Because that's effectively what they're doing. They're bringing in cars that are good.
They're very good.
They're not Volvo, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi level in terms of quality yet, but the delta is 60% of the price.
I would firstly, I'd take my hat off to them.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of respect there. And if you look at how far they've come and how quickly they've come, I think there's a lot of respect there for them. And I think the Chinese automakers in South Africa, if you think what they're doing at a population level, they're providing safe motoring at an effective price to a large proportion of South Africans. And I think they're
providing access.
They're providing access. And they're providing access to features that were only available in very high-end cars at a much lower price point.
Yeah.
So I think that's exactly it. I think Volvo is going to remain for this moment a premium automotive provider, and our focus is moving towards EVs on our battery solutions. So I think that is the path for the organization.
But then, would you say you compete with BYD?
Yeah, I think in some points at the top end, yes, we would actually. There would be we are a premium segment vehicle manufacturer.
Yeah.
And I think as BYD starts to come in there, they will naturally become our competitors as well.
Yeah.
And I think they've done a phenomenal job in that product lineup that they're bringing out is due a lot of respect. I think Volvo's focus though, and as I said to you earlier, the real focus on Volvo will remain safety. That is always going to be what it is, the ethos of the brand, is creating.
You've limited the maximum speed of the cars now too, right? So
always 180.
180. Yes.
Yeah, so every car is limited to 180. Yeah. And the ethos of the whole brand is going to be about safety. Yeah. And so I think that and the focus on electrification, the focus on a circular economy, making sure that our products are sustainable, that is where Volvo's North Star is going to be over the next, decade or so. And I think that for me is will hopefully create enough space for us in the South African market and enough consideration to make sure that we can create a good experience for customers and make sure we can look after them.
So, on a similar vein, we all know that the import tariffs on electric cars is higher than the import tariff on internal combustion engine vehicles. So by definition, importing electric Volvos into the country is disproportionately expensive for a manufacturer or for an OEM than what importing an ICE vehicle is of the same premium quality. How do you navigate that? Do you have credits that you can apply to these import tariffs, or does it just push the price up?
To be honest with you, I'm not there yet where I understand that well enough yet. So, but I'll give you an answer. Let's see if it's the right answer. But I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you that I know everything. My
that in itself is a good answer.
Yeah.
It's like, somebody knows themselves if they say I don't know.
No, I'm not going to give you a good answer there. But we're not a producer in South Africa. Yes. So my understanding is we've got no credits to offset.
Okay.
So as far as I would understand is that it would just push the price up.
Okay.
So if we, if I was, let's call me a South African. Let's say, what would I love to do as a South African MD of Volvo Cars as Grant Locke? Not as a representative of Volvo Cars. I would love to be able to establish a factory here.
Okay.
And then start to create local jobs. Basically, either we do CKDs, knockdowns, and then start to do what the other premium manufacturers have done. But at this moment in time, I don't see that as an option. So at the moment,
I think your volumes have to be really
they have to be higher. Yeah. They have to be higher to do that. I think the key thing we need to understand is what's the policy direction from NAMSA.
I don't think
the Treasury.
Not NAMSA, it's really
Treasury.
The government. Yeah,
it's government.
So
regulation. What is Treasury going to do? And the reason I mentioned NAMSA is I want to understand, one of my jobs as MD is I'd like to start understanding with NAMSA what their influence is on the policy direction with government. Is there a way that we can get in that conversation and make sure that we lend our voice to support it? Because I think that it's a phenomenal solution to customers. And South Africa, I think there's a lot of talk around the concern over whether you're charging your car using electricity generated from a coal-fired plant.
Yes.
And I think that's a valid concern, but I think that the entire energy mix globally is changing.
Yeah.
It takes time. You can't reinvent an entire energy mix across from generation to transmission to usage in one go.
Yeah.
So the products are now starting to move towards EVs. We're starting to introduce renewable energy sources. South Africa is blessed with a lot of sunshine, and there's a lot of investment going into solar plants in South Africa. And so this energy transition that's happening, it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to stop that. We would love to support that and try and make it fast. And I think that the end result will be better for consumers.
Yeah.
That's my viewpoint.
Well, I mean, I think at the moment, government can't be making that much money out of import tariffs on EVs because the volumes aren't there.
No, they're not. I mean, I think year to date, total EVs was about 450 on the NAMSA results.
Exactly. So I've been saying for a very long time, and hopefully these kinds of talks and with other people, yourselves as an OEM in the thick of it with the government, is just bring the tariff from 25% down to 18%, where ICE vehicles are, to try and encourage more EV imports.
Because make them more affordable for consumers.
Exactly. And surely coming from 25 to 18 is not going to hurt import taxes as much as the government might think. Because you just want to make it competitive.
For customers, for the benefit of the people in your country.
That's all you want to do is make it competitive. Because I'm pretty sure Volvo and whoever else brings in EVs is not going to leave the price point up there. If you get a concession on import duties, of course you're going to pass that on to the customer. Yeah. It's a good business strategy. So I think just coming down from 25 to 18 is a really good strategy for the government. And the other one is historically. This was, 15 plus years ago, it was tax efficient to have a company car.
Yes, it's no longer.
It's no longer tax efficient to have a company car. Incentivize businesses that give their employees EVs for company cars from a tax perspective.
I think that's a phenomenal idea. And I genuinely agree with you. The tax efficiency of a company car, it's almost been completely eroded.
Exactly. Most people have gone to car allowances now.
Yeah.
So those two moves on their own, I don't think hurts. I think the government will actually get more tax because companies will start giving employees company cars potentially. Yes. And then that will be good for companies like Volvo, who will say, okay, well, let's have some kind of fleet agreements with companies and get some volumes into the market.
And then there's more discounts available as well if needed. I think you're right. Encouraging this transportation and encouraging safe cars on the road and sort of making it easier and more tax efficient to do so, I think will be a net benefit to the South African customer.
Yeah. Been such a pleasure, Grant, having you here.
George, thank you.
I'm so thrilled that I got you in here as a newbie to this role. Would love to chat to you in a couple of months' time. Once you've got some more scars and find out what those were about. Really, really awesome having you here.
Thanks for having me, George. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.